Alright guys, so if you asked me a couple of days ago if I thought we'd be seeing Nyck De Vries in F1 on a full-time basis anytime soon, my answer would have been a simple no. Yes, he is a Formula E champion, and yes, he is also a Formula 2 champion, but this guy is now 27 years old and he's had little to no Formula 1 experience. Of course, up until yesterday, and boy did he deliver. Now, because of that performance he gave yesterday, my opinion has completely changed, and clearly so has the opinions of many other people. So yeah, in this video I want to have a little chat about De Vries' current situation and why I believe he should have a seat in Formula 1 next season. So I've already mentioned that Nyck is a Formula 2 champion. He won the championship back in 2019, but the wow factor of that win was definitely quite toned down because of the caliber of that grid. Not that they were bad or anything, but the drivers who could have potentially posed a threat to De Vries were just starting out in F2, so their performances weren't anything special. At that point, Nyck was also in his second season of F2, and that also definitely takes away a bit of the appeal of the championship win away. That season he finished 52 points ahead of Nicholas Latifi, who finished in second place. That's enough said about 2019. In my opinion, his first season in F2 was a lot more impressive, where he managed to place 4th in a championship against the likes of Alex Albon, Lando Norris and George Russell, who of course won that season by quite a margin. His years in F2 definitely proved that he was at the very least a decent driver. However, it wasn't enough to get him a full-time seat in Formula 1. But it was good enough to land him the role of test and reserve driver for the dominant Mercedes F1 team, and more importantly, a full-time Formula E seat with the Mercedes EQ Formula E team. Now again, he got to show off his skills here in Formula E, winning the championship in his first season in a very close and competitive field of drivers in a radically different style of motorsport. Honestly, to me this was his most impressive year as a professional racing driver to date, and still, no Formula 1 seat in sight for the time being. Fast forward to the 2022 Formula E season, De Vries finished in a much less impressive P9 in the championship, whereas his teammate and former F1 driver Stoffel Vandoorne won the championship by a healthy margin. So at this point, things weren't really looking good for De Vries in terms of landing a seat in F1. Even though he's shown some impressive feats of driving, his age and his very mediocre 2022 Formula E season, in my opinion, really put him in a weird spot of light. He's shown that he can perform, but not necessarily all the time, and that definitely didn't paint a very special picture of himself as a driver. At this point, it wasn't looking like he would land a seat in F1 unless a backmarker team really had no one to sign for their next season. But that also looked extremely unlikely because at the time we had Oscar Piastri in his Alpine contract, where it was looking very likely that he would be driving for Williams in 2023. And even after he was confirmed to be racing for McLaren for 2023, Williams still had talented younger drivers queuing up for a spot, such as Logan Sargent. And on top of that, spots such as AlphaTauri or Alpine are looking like they will be filled, with AlphaTauri trying to bring in Colton Herta from IndyCar if they can get his super license situation sorted, and Alpine want to buy out Pierre Gasly out of his AlphaTauri contract to drive for them in 2023. So overall, you could definitely say that at 27 years old, it was looking very unlikely for De Vries to sign a contract with an F1 team anytime soon. And the more he waits, the older he gets, the less likely he gets signed as a rookie. But that all changed last weekend when first De Vries got the opportunity to drive an FP1 session for Aston Martin on Friday, where of course that doesn't do much in terms of getting to show off your skills and impress anyone, but it was some much needed driving experience in a modern Formula 1 car, because the next day Nyck got a call to drive for Williams in FP3, qualifying and of course the race, because Alex Albon had been suffering from appendicitis and couldn't race that weekend. Of course, that was some really sad news for Albon, since Monza is a track which suits the Williams car very well, and he was going to miss out on that race. But that left De Vries with the perfect opportunity to really prove himself. He even said that he couldn't sleep the night before. That's how nervous he was about it, and the way I see it, it was perfectly right for him to stress about it, since that could potentially have been his only good chance left to prove that he is Formula 1 worthy. And I think it all paid off for him, because I'm sure we can all agree that he obliterated all expectations. P9 on his debut race in Formula 1 in the slowest car on the grid. Sure, the track suits the car's strong speed on the straights, but that's about it. He scored 1/3 of Williams' points this season on one outing, and he's beating Latifi in a championship that he's not even in. Need I say more? That was honestly the dream weekend for De Vries. Everything played out the way he would have liked it to, and he managed to show off what he can do in the slowest car on the grid with just 1 day of practice. If that wasn't impressive, I don't know what is. And you don't need my opinion, take it from someone like Toto Wolff, who said after qualifying that De Vries put down a marker for an F1 seat, and after the race, Williams team principal Jost Capito had only praise to give De Vries. I mean, things have truly turned around for him in only a couple of days. Now, that's all well said, but on the topic of Nyck actually landing a seat in F1 next season, I think it's looking more likely than ever. He's proved what he's had to prove. What more can he do now? At this point, I think it's in Williams' best interest to sign De Vries for next season as soon as physically possible. There's absolutely no question about it. And that's really it, guys. If you enjoyed this video at any point, please do consider liking and, more importantly, subscribing to help with the growth of this channel. And if you have something to add or just simply want to say something, please do so in the comments below. It also helps out a lot with the algorithm if you do so. But really, thank you guys for watching, and on that note, I hope you all have a blessed night, and I'll catch you all next time.